Well, it's cold on the farm today. There's a breeze blowing. These flags are tangled together a little bit. Need to do something about that. Creek's in good shape today. You can see where it's been up on this rock with these leaves piled up against this metal rod right here. Still a little bit of snow in the tire tracks. So I thought I'd do a little video regarding our business plans for 2021. One thing we want to do in 21, if we can, is increase our subscribership and views. If you're watching this channel and you like our content, if you can subscribe, that would be great, and come back, and hopefully we've got something you might enjoy. But subscribe, leave comments, and we appreciate you coming along for 2021 and beyond. So one of the things we're going to do this year is, in the past, we brought our hay wagons in from this side or that side, and kind of lined them up and offloaded hay, from one side or the other, and that worked okay. But what we're going to try to do this year is we're going to take whatever bales we have left, and we're going to create what I'm hoping is a permanent layer of bottom bales from that corner of the barn down to that opening, and then from this corner of the barn we'll go all the way down to the end, and from that corner we'll come across right here, and then this whole layer, this whole area right in here will be dedicated to hay storage. And we're going to come up, I don't know how high we'll come up to the trusses, but feel pretty confident that one of the equipment things that we're going to be adding is an elevator, so we can put hay on here and just kind of bring it up a little bit at a time. And the goal is to have two doors we can bring equipment in and out of and park out of the weather, and so sometimes we just need to have two entrances and exits the way the tractors and equipment pile in here. So this barn is 8 feet longer on this side than it is on that side, so I want to focus the most hay right in here, and we'll fill this end up first, and we'll work our way down, and then if we get reject hay or we get some second cutting, that's when we'll start going all the way down towards that corner, and then we kind of know we've got it segregated, first, second cut, or something different. So first thing we're going to do in 2021 is try to pack out this barn a little different, such that we can get equipment in here and plenty of hay. And now what we'll do as far as the wagons go is during the hay season we'll pull them in. One might come in here, one might come in here, and one might come in that way, and to get unloaded might bring a couple of them in this way. So I feel pretty good we can get at least 5 wagons out of the weather coming in this way and this way, probably more than that. Each one of these 6x6s are 8 feet apart, so when you look down, there's 16, 32. Our wagons are 16 feet long, and then we have overhangs on all 4 sides of the barn. So one of the things we're going to look at doing potentially is adding a bigger bush hog, and I'd like to put a bat wing, 15-foot bat wing on the Massey, but I'm struggling with 540 1000 PTO, and this tractor's 540. The Massey's 1000 or 540. You just have to change the stub shaft out, which I guess is easy enough, but I'd prefer not to have anything, so I'm probably going to go with 540. But the bigger bush hog for 2021 is somewhat optional. Another thing I want to do is I want to upgrade this sprayer, and I'm either going to replace it or put a bigger tank on it. Again, this is an optional project in 2021. I'm happy with the boom size for our rolling fields, but I'm not so happy with the tank size. But we can get along with that. But if I can find a deal on a bigger tank or a complete sprayer, I may jump on it. One of the things I'm wrestling with is, and this is going to be kind of a big decision up here on this farm, is presently we try to grow straight Timothy, and we want to continue with Timothy. I like it, but as our fields age, we start getting orchard grass and fescue growing in, and weeds haven't really been a big issue. It seems like our herbicide program is doing its thing. Our hay is virtually weed free, but the dilemma I have is twofold. One of them is I've got this field right here between first and second cut delivered 200 bales per acre on average, and so the question is, how do I kill a field like this and go back to straight Timothy? That's a question I'm struggling with, because you can plant Timothy and it may not take in the fall, and then you got a lousy field going into the spring, and this field is still very productive. It's still overwhelmingly Timothy. It's just there's enough orchard grass and fescue in it to cause me not to call this a straight Timothy field anymore. One of the things I wrestle with a little bit is it's pretty much a certainty that this barn is going to come down, but even yet it crosses my mind that maybe we can save it, and but as nice as that would be, whatever we do, it has to pencil out. We're farming up here to turn a profit, not to have a hobby loss. That barn over there was expensive enough to build, and just the cost of the siding, and look at this barn, and it's still got siding, but it is in disrepair. It's well over 100 years old, and it might be the best thing just to let it come on down. But 2021, I'm going to ponder the potential of trying to save part of the barn. I'm just not sure how that's going to work. Sometimes these decisions I make, it takes weeks and months and sometimes years before I pull the trigger. I just have to fully comprehend what I'm doing, and is it the right thing for the barn? Is it going to be too much hassle? Is it going to be more trouble than it's worth? Do I really need it? Things like that. And so as helter-skelter as we are up here, as it might seem, there is a rhyme and a reason for everything we do, and I try to think it through before I pull the trigger and do anything. This is one of the little projects I got to finish. Part 2 video coming when it warms up, I guess. Cub Cadet 109. I have no plans on getting rid of any equipment up here. You know, I got rid of my Farmall 756 gas tractor, and but I don't really have any plans on getting rid of any more equipment. If anything, I'd like to add a 15-foot bat wing and a larger sprayer, as I may have already mentioned. Another thing that's on the list for 2021 is this dome shelter right here. I'm either going to move it or leave it where it's at, but I'd like to get some tin on it. I don't know how that's going to hold up, but I would like to at least try it. And I got another carport, and I've got the tin stored. But this one's 18 by 21. A friend of mine made it available to me, and we need to put it up. So another thing we want to try to do in 2021 is try to strike a little better balance between day job and the farm here. I say all but a couple of days of my vacation time last year were spent right here on this farm working, and so I'm hoping the weather will cooperate. It's not all a matter of, well, I'm just not going to use vacation up here. Sometimes the way the weather patterns are and things happen, you need to be up here, and you have to use vacation to get off the day job and get on this farm to take care of some business like baling hay. And but nonetheless, I'd like to try to strike a little better balance between the day job and the farm. That's one of the major goals in 2021, and that plays into what I was talking about, killing this field or not killing this field. Because, you know, if I'm getting 200 bales per acre on average out of this field, does it really make sense to take the time to kill it and broadcast, scratch it up, broadcast seed on it, roll it down with the cultipacker? Is that really time well spent? Our forage test results should suggest that what we're growing here on this field and on our other fields is just as good as when we had straight Timothy. The rub is some customers want straight Timothy either because it's straight Timothy or because they have pregnant mares and they don't want any fescue in their hay. One of the decisions I'm trying to make here for my 2021 is just striking a balance between fertilizer and field expansion. And you know, there's a tremendous hay glut in our area in 2020, and but nonetheless, we still want to open our fields up as much as we can for potential hay production. And I had this little strip right in here. It looks all grown up, but it's actually cleared. And I had a fella come in here with a backhoe and a thumb, and he would pull these autumn olives up, shake the dirt off, and throw them down. And I did that, just had him do a little piece to see if it would work, and it did. And hoping in 2021 to have him or someone else come back and do this whole field. And so I got to get some pricing on that, and then I need to soil test this and put lime. I probably need to bring the lime up a little bit, the pH up a little bit. But you know, the question is, where does that money come from? Does it come out of the fertilizer budget, land improvement, or, you know, it's all a big balance here. And I want my hay business to support the hay business. You know, it's one thing when I jump in and I say, all right, let me build a barn. But when we get down to day-to-day things like fertilizer, field improvement, what's necessary, what's not necessary, I really give that a good looking over. And in light of the hay glut, I'm wondering, you know, what it's going to be like in 2021. my guess is there's going to be considerable carryover, and that'll impact hay demand in the fall of 2021 and in the January of 2022. So one of the things I'm inclined to do this year is to ease up on the fertilizer program, and money that I would otherwise spend on fertilizer, I would use it to clear this field, bring the pH up to where it needs to be, and plant it in Timothy. I talked about earlier Timothy, mixed grass, that kind of thing. One thing I want to be clear on is the only thing we're going to plant up here is Timothy. Occasionally we'll plant teef or teff, however you say it, as we did here last year, and we might plant it again this spring in this little field. But we plant Timothy, we overseed with Timothy. The dilemma really is, do we kill a field and start over with Timothy? On this one, you'd be starting from scratch with Timothy, but nonetheless, I want to get a price to clear all this stuff off. I'm probably going to seek a firm fixed price instead of an hourly price, and get this field cleaned off. This is going to be a fine hay field. So, you know, you think in a business plan you'd have all these things worked out, where you say, well, I am going to do this, or I am going to do that, no questions asked. But in our business plan, we document what we're in fact going to do, but we also document what we think we might do this way or this way. We might do this or we might do that. We put that in our business plan so that we're kind of accounting for that effort. If I can get the carports up and some shelter, you know, these pieces of equipment will go in it along with my Heston mower conditioner. But one thing I want to think about, if I can find a deal, it's not required, but I'd like to get a wheel rake to assist with speeding up gathering hay for second cut. And my Vermeer is a great machine, but it doesn't lend itself very well to bringing windrows of hay together like a side delivery rake. This New Holland needs some gearbox work. This John Deere needs a PTO shaft, but I want to, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be selling any equipment that I know of in 2021, but I would like to get these pieces going. One thing I want to do is get my New Holland 68 going. The plunger's stuck, and it uses wood slides on all four sides of the plunger, and they're about 24 inches long. See if I can do this. They're probably 24 inches long, and they sit on the corners of the plunger, on each corner, and then they ride the bale chamber as it goes back and forth. And they're maple, and I replaced them once before, and it was a tight fit going in there, but I think that they have swollen against the wood. The wood has swollen against the sides of the bale chamber, so I need to try to get those things broke loose. And otherwise, this baler does a nice job. It's just not very fast. But if the 348 John Deere were to go down, this would it'd be slow, but we could make all the hay we wanted on this farm. Wagons are a high priority in 2021. I know I've showed you this pile of wagon gear laid up here in the weeds probably a dozen times over the summer, but I want to dig these things out and build wagon decks and add to the number of kicker wagons we got. This wagon right here, we pulled the deck off of it this summer, but this wagon will be 20 feet long, and one of the changes we're going to make is typically our wagons are 8 feet wide, 16 foot long. I want to start making my wagons 9 feet wide, and this one's simply going to be 20 feet long because that's how long the boards are that I've got. and so I need to stretch this running gear a little bit. So it'll be 9 by 20, I hope. And if we use it on the hill, we probably won't be filling it up, even with the big Massey. I don't need a wagon jackknifing into my baler and pushing the tractor down the hill. In addition to building wagons, we need to do some wagon repairs. Obviously, the sides on this wagon don't exactly stand straight up, so I got to do something about that. You know, it's a little thing, or maybe it's a big thing, and I've mentioned it over and over, and but we want to get some of this crap out of here and kind of clean up around the barn and keep it mowed down. Right, wrong, or indifferent, horse customers they like good, clean, green, weed-free hay, but you know, appearance does not always tell the story, but the first impression can make or break you know, future hay sales. Usually when people are here, I can't say that I've had people drive in here and turn down hay. I had one time, I had a guy that was he did come and he looked at my hay, and it was beautiful, straight Timothy hay, and he claimed it wasn't green enough, but I think he was from out of state, and I think he had several people he was going to, one right after the other, and I think my price might have scared him off, and he had somebody else in mind. So that's the closest I ever come to telling the customer to get off the farm. He kind of talked down my hay, and it was absolutely good stuff, and forage tested. It was just beautiful straight Timothy hay, and he kind of talked it down so he wouldn't buy any, and I don't know, I just wasn't having it that day, so he left, and I was glad he was gone. But nonetheless, I would like to I think the condition of your property, in some ways, farmers are a little different, you know. Sometimes it's hard to make everything look beautiful like you see in the calendar pictures, because you're busy being a farmer, and some people understand that and some people don't. Horse hay, I like for things to look nice in addition to my hay when the horse customer comes. I feel like it gives me some credibility. Maybe it does, maybe it don't, but that's just me. So the Model 50 Massey Ferguson, I want to try to upgrade it to an alternator, and it needs a clutch. It's not out, but you know, we can kind of limp it along, but I'd like to do a clutch on it, and a few other repairs. Again, this is kind of optional. Back here, the Lely fertilizer spreader, it's kind of at the end of its run. It's just about rusted out, and I'm interested in finding another sprayer. I'm interested in finding another fertilizer spreader, and I'm kind of looking at the Vicon pendulum spreaders. I've read some pretty good things about those, and they kind of have a plastic hopper. So to the extent I fertilize this year, I may have the co-op put the fertilizer down for me, and we just kind of look for. I've been looking for a deal on a used Vicon. They're Kubota now, but nothing's come up in the size that I want, and I'd like something. I can put a half ton of fertilizer in this one. I'd like to get one where I can put a ton bag in it, and you can get those in the Vicon if you watch and look around. I could live with a half ton, but you know, at some point we'd like to move to 1-ton bags of fertilizer instead of those little 50-pound, 50-pound yellow bags that we've been getting. I talked earlier about, you know, balancing fertilizing versus, you know, field maintenance, clearing the field that was way over there. And then, of course, I'm not going over the hill today, but it's kind of muddy. But putting down lime is a kind of a, we're probably ready for that this year on all of my fields. So I'll be taking soil samples, and so we might want to back off the fertilizer a little bit, make room for money for the for a nice application of lime to go on these fields. And that's part of the balance we're trying to strike here. Got the remnants of where I had one of the dome shelters. Got to clear out all that junk, and there's some pallets down there in those autumn olives. I got to get all that stuff out and want to clear those autumn olives out. There's a dead ash tree. I don't know if you can see it down here. I need to cut and get out of this field. It's dropping limbs like crazy. And then I got to talk to my brother. I'd like to clear the remaining trees out of here so that we just have a continuous field between this field and this one. Some things I'm considering. I don't know that I'll do it or not, but it depends on how the weather looks. And again, I haven't quite sized up the hay market for 2021, but as I mentioned, I think there's going to be a lot of carryover. But one thing we won't be doing in 2021, I don't think, is making gleaner hay. So we won't be going around, you know, the edges of our fields and the nooks and crannies and cutting hay out of them like we've done in the past. And that gets into a couple areas. One of them is just, like I talked about, the work and farm life balance. There's only so many hours in the day. And yeah, when I cut gleaner hay, I make money on it. And, you know, it pays for some diesel and things like that. But sometimes it's more hassle than what it seems like it's worth. So we may not be making gleaner hay this year. But if it looks like there's a big drought, we absolutely will be making gleaner hay. So just to kind of recap our business plans for 2021, we want to try to strike a balance between work and the farm. We want to try to strike a balance between how much we spend on fertilizing versus how much we spend clearing new fields and putting lime down on the fields that we've got. So we got to do that. We want to put up a carport if we can. We want to put a roof on the dome shelter we've got, a metal roof. We want to we see opportunities to buy a wheel rake. I'd like to do that. A bigger sprayer or a bigger sprayer tank. I'd like to do that. Fertilizer spreader. Wouldn't mind having a bigger fertilizer spreader. That's kind of an essential item, I think. We'll probably get the Lely to make it through one more season, but it's pretty much shot. But we'll definitely want to look at our fertilizer spreader, and we want a bigger sprayer or a bigger tank with something we can make. So we're hoping for a great 2021. This has been a interesting year, to say the least, with the COVID, and we've got a hay glut. We've sold, I think we've done okay selling hay, but there is a hay glut. And so again, hope you enjoy these videos, and feel free to comment and subscribe. And stay tuned. There's a lot going on in 2021, and we're just now getting started. So we'll talk to you later.